Welcome to Act Out. I'm Eleanor Goldfield, and this is your tipping point. Apologies for the light shifting. As some of you know, music is one of my primary creative passions. So when I heard talk of a climate change composition, I got a little giddy. Whether activism is an everyday endeavor or not, you've likely seen or heard numbers thrown out there showing how the planet is warming. 5 degrees here, half a degree there, and it just doesn't stick. Like ice in the Arctic, it just kind of melts down your mind and you go about your day. Unless you're really into numbers, this talk of degree changes doesn't mean much to the average person. We can understand the concept of warming, but if you say 1.2 degrees, I don't know if I should say, oh, that's fucked, or just shrug and say, okay, and? Music, on the other hand, like art in general, has the ability to take these abstract numbers and turn them into something else. A vivid soundscape, an oral representation of this idea, this quickened crisis of climate change. But to slightly skew Elvis Costello's quote, talking about music is like dancing about architecture. So without further ado, here is the story and sound of our warming planet.
We know the Earth is warming, but some places have warmed up faster than others. Our changing climate is often illustrated with maps like this one from NASA's Goddard Institute for Space Studies. But visual representations are not the only way we can chart the geography of global warming. My name is Dan Crawford, and I'm a student at the University of Minnesota. I've been working with Dr. Scott St. George, who's a professor in the Department of Geography, to turn climate data into climate music. It's written for string quartet and uses all 4 instruments to describe the pace and the place of global warming. We've asked students from the University of Minnesota's School of Music to perform the piece, and also to help explain how we turned 135 years of thermometer measurements into music. The cello matches the temperature of the equatorial zone. The viola tracks the mid-latitudes, and the 2 violins separately match the temperatures of the high latitudes and the Arctic. The pitch of each note is tuned to the average annual temperature of that region. So a really low note on the cello means the equatorial zone was cold that year. And a really high note on the violin means warm weather stretching across the Arctic. When we blend the 4 instruments, the 4 regions together, you're able to hear quite clearly how temperatures fluctuate across the globe, from the equator to the North Pole. And if we start the performance in 1880 and end at the present, you can hear how much temperatures have increased and what regions have warmed the most. This is our newest composition, Planetary Band's Warming World.
Pretty incredible, right? I kind of just want to hack into the sound system at Congress and play this on repeat like Chinese water torture till the ass jockey climate deniers either spontaneously combust or find logic.